So we, me and Dinesh are going to cover a couple more things, and then you can stop listening to us. I promise. For those again, I'm Paul Jones, Senior Application Consultant at the Configure Grand Rapids office. In true to fashion, for those of you who came to my earlier presentation, still did not make a PowerPoint, so that's fine. But I wanted you guys to see something anyway. So we've all been to the wiki, all of us, every single one, and we've all checked out this developer resources section. I want to point out something that has gotten a little bit more exciting, at least to me. This in the tools section, the CET developer section. This documentation has been fleshed out quite a bit, but what I'm looking for in this specific one is the developer releases. So starting with this version, this release, CET developer, the documentation on new features has been vastly improved. Whereas before it was just kind of a pretty simple change list, now we're actually providing some feedback on what these new features are intended to do, how they're supposed to work, even some pretty pictures. And so I just wanted to walk through a couple of these new changes in this version, since we had a lot of really kick-ass new performance tools come out. For example, this for me is my favorite.
Can you control and plus sign to make it a little larger for us to see?
I can probably. Let's try this. Yeah, how's that? Perfect. Good? Okay. So this first one, the update command has been rewritten to be much faster and supports parallel download from Perforce. So no longer a single download thread. So let me go in here. I'm going to grab, let me see this guy here. Along this right side, you're going to see these two new options for speed optimizations. Compression and parallel download. Checking parallel download, and you can do this anytime, even after the workspace is created. It's just going to make it so we're not downloading files one at a time anymore. We can actually fire off as many jobs as we can on the computer. This compression, as I understand it, I'll admit I don't know the technicals behind it, but as I understand it, this will actually compress your download server side before it transfers, theoretically, meaning less actual transfer bytes. However, because with the parallel downloads we've gotten so fast at transferring, this really is only useful if you have a very, very limited bandwidth. In fact, it even says right in here in the tool tab, recommended if your transfer speed is less than a meg. So if you're basically in any of the hotels here, yeah. I have made good use of this weekend, or this week. Otherwise, it's actually going to slow things down for you. With the multiple downloaded threads, we're so much faster, compression doesn't actually get anything for us. So, highly recommend this. I've been using this for a while. I've been trying the beta version of Developer, and I really like this. The improvement is massive.
At Thematic, we went from one workday of downloading in a workspace to 6 minutes.
It's not a little bit of an improvement. It's a big one.
That's massive.
Okay, some more. I don't know what I'm going to say friendly status messages while you're downloading, like in the screenshot here. You can actually see how far in the whole download your progress along, and your throughput speed. I know I'm not supposed to point out bugs since I'm talking about new features, but I've already found a bug. I've actually found that this estimated time is usually not correct. It overestimates, so I will make sure we get that fixed. What else we got? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, right. So when you're creating a new workspace, or even when you're tweaking an existing one, we've pulled out a lot of stuff from your workspace that you probably don't need. This new tab along the top, optional source data, these are all files that, unless you have a specific need for them, you probably don't need, but you were probably getting before anyway. So for example, in the custom developer, we had a bunch of extra files for developer training material, like PowerPoints and Word documents and whatnot. Chances are you don't need those. You might want custom developer, but not want all this extra bloat. And these are also keeping your workspace very much smaller by keeping these unchecked. Unless, of course, you need them, and go ahead and add them. I should really just stop closing that, shouldn't I? The checkout button has gone into bit of a tweak. So we have the checkout and update button. This performs pretty much the same way as the update button did before. It will simultaneously check your local workspace for edited files and also pull down the most recent version of files. Then we have the new checkout button, which only checks out files. It'll look at your local workspace, compare them against what's up on the server, and mark them for edit if necessary. But that's it. It does not download files, like more recent versions of files from the server. And then the normal full reconcile is available there. This is, again, really good in situations where you are dealing with limited bandwidth. You know, the chances are checking everything on the server for like updates is not needed all that often, especially when you're working on your own like customization. You know when updates are available. You know that you're basically wasting time pulling down updates from the server. So this just saves you a little time. Dinesh, I'm actually going to have you talk about this one. Right. Does this not tie to your portion of the?
No.
No?
Not this one.
Oh. Anywho. Okay, so this one, actually editing workspace. Like I said, I need to stop closing this. This has gone under a little bit of a change. We made these buttons over here a little bit more friendly, and we've gotten some new tools here. Create compatible. As I understand it, this is basically going to take an existing extension and make a new compatible branch to the current core. So for example, if I haven't migrated to 8.5 yet, I could come into my workspace, select 8.5 for core, and then create a compatible branch for that. This is, yeah. So this is similar to this integrate tool that we've had around for a while, but it's more like specific. It's just saving you some clicks in a couple, so you can go type it. Also, the check compatible can now be customized, and that's what this section is up here. So before, if you hit check compatible, we do what we can to select the branch appropriate for core. Otherwise, we just kind of guess based on text matching, right? So if the current version is 8.5 patch, and this extension doesn't have a version 8.5 patch, it's just going to do its best guess in the background, and it's kind of your guess as to what it's actually doing. You have no control over what it selects, which is okay when you can come here and change it yourself. But here, this new section here can it gives you an opportunity to make this a bit more intelligent. You're saying if you fail to find an 8.5 patch dev branch, look for this version branch next. So it gives you a bit more control and could potentially save you time. And isn't this is saved between like workspaces and sessions, right? So you don't need to put this in twice, I don't think, which is where you really save. I believe that's it. Did I miss anything? Oh, right. Okay, I experimented with this for the first time a couple days ago. This is pretty swish. A new tool for doing translations, like from RS entries and whatnot. But it's a bit of a trick to get to it, so I'm going to walk you through it. So, bring up your code companion. Let's say, see if I can find developer. All right. It's time for me to translate this to a new language. I right-click on developer here. I do an import-export and then export translations to Excel. I can call out which RS file specifically I want to export, or the default, just choose them all. What is this? I don't want that. I hit export. Am I going to override anything of yours? I don't think I am. No, I'm not. It's by date. Okay, cool. It's going to parse out those RS files and make Excel documents out of them, which you can then hand over to translators. Let's see here. So, for example, English UK. So it's time to translate to English UK. The location, the actual RS file, the RS tag, what the current English value of that RS entry is, and over here I can start putting in my own new one. So let's see how bad my English is. Let's say Snap, yeah. Snap. I don't speak proper English, so I have to guess. I'm sorry. I'm American. I don't speak proper English. Okay, so let's say I'm just going to translate these for now. Give it a save. Get out of here. Import translations. Let's find the file here. That was this one, right? Export translations. I was working on English UK on that. And here it pulled out the changes that I made. It says there wasn't a value there before, but this is the new one. So now if I hit this right target to target resource files, it's going to create a new change list that's updating those RS files for me. So this is like a more friendly way. I mean, chances are your translators aren't going to have a developer environment set up. So this way you can export to an Excel document, hand it off to them, more than likely they have access to Excel, and then they can just pass it back to you when you're done. When they're done. It's taking so long. Hello? Yeah, sure, why not?
You might be having force access trouble here in the hotel.
And update my RS files for me.
And you just store your header.
You
just store your header right here.
Yes, it certainly did. It's a feature, Johan. Okay. I believe that is it. Any questions on changes to these new changes to operator? What you got?
So the feature that you skipped.
Yes.
I think we should mention that because Gustav Lundén, who is developing this, is really proud of that one. And that's also part of what Christopher is doing. You can run the performance tracker stuff in the continuous builder for every submit as well to see.
So basically that snapper ranking tool, it runs.
It's in the builder. So
That's
you
pretty
can
nice.
get the performance for every submit.
Okay.
You go for whenever you want to run it as well.
Can you have it fire off email complaints whenever suddenly your performance drops?
I think so.
Okay. I'll be using that one. All right. Anything else before we move on?
Is this a recommended way to maintain translation?
Recommended is a fun word.
I mean, for instance, I've been working with an older manufacturer, and there are a lot of RS files, and it's difficult to get a grasp on what's in them. And if we need to add new things, it can be. I mean, when they are like a kilometer long, the list, and you keep scrolling, you know, and you search for places, it's difficult to keep track of translation. Using this tool, maybe it's easier to maintain a big database of translations.
Yes.
Are you looking for a way to find if an RS is already defined?
That is one of the things, and I mean, it's
Because we have a feature for that. I think you are in on that.
Yeah, they're always fine. Have you used that? It's a very awesome feature.
But you can search also, you can also
Find a
search.
specific resource, so if you're looking for a specific word, you see if they already have a translation for it. You look and see if you can find it in the resource tree.
But you can also just search for it in the operator.
Yeah, they have it in the operator as well.
Yeah.
True.
That's what I usually do.
But it's also difficult to get a grasp on the tree of the like cascading or searches. So if you don't find it in the package.
Oh, okay, that's easy. RS has that tree, so if you can bring up CET
Yeah.
design.
Yeah.
didn't someone add Alt-I on the RS lookup in the scene code as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we can use Alt-I on the RS lookup.
Yeah.
And
The
that's
dollar
why
sign.
I find it in the specific one. But what's cool with this one here, the RS timeline, you have, if you go to the hierarchy, that's the tree right there.
Oh, that's nice.
So that there you have all your packages. You can use, so here's an easy way of debugging if you have your trees correct.
That's good.
They know exactly what packages you can look for. So and then find there is using that one. So you pick what package you are looking from. So if you are in the custom song, and then you pick your language you want to find the resource for Japanese. Then you probably need to type in the Japanese word.
So probably not.
I would probably pick something else, say English or something UK or whatever. English and search for words. And it's kind of cool because it uses actually, it sorts the order by how close it's related to a word you type in. So it finds almost equal to as well as not just the exact.
That's excellent, because I mean the search function in Emacs is very accurate.
Exactly, this is not very accurate. It sorts them based on how accurate it is.
Yeah.
It's using the Liebenstein algorithm to find
That's
the
good.
results. And you can then click on it and it will jump to it in the Emacs.
So when we implement multiple inheritance and one
What?
for the others. Yeah, you want to inherit like now it's 63, so now you can just add one, right? That's a common as well.
Okay, so you can get
You can
there
get from
and
abstract office and from abstract wherever kitchen. That might be there, but you know.
sure. I don't see a big problem with that. It's just a database. They have multiple. But
No, it's not hard, I tell you.
No, but
You can have
Tell you.
depending on what, then you have to have a hierarchy of order also to find the looking first, right?
Yeah.
But then I have to redo my hierarchy.
Then you have to redo the tree.
Exactly.
Is there a consideration for an offline version of Operator?
What do you mean by offline?
Well, because in order to start dev, Perforce has to be logged in. In order for Perforce to log in, you have to be on an internet connection. So if you're
I think that was a bug actually.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I think it was a bug
yeah.
that has been fixed. So now, by right, you should be able to start Emacs, and you should be able to start CET Designer even without being logged in.
Well, I actually tried that a few minutes ago and it still wasn't letting me.
Oh really?
Maybe I have to get do a refresh again, but it was, yeah, I opened Emacs when I wasn't connected to Wi-Fi and it just sat there. So.
Okay. Yeah, because that was, I remember.
Yeah, that should definitely work.
Yeah, I was working on the airplane while you were here.
There's like a perforce command in your Emacs file that you have put out and still work.
Yeah, I'm quite sure Gustav fixed it.
No.
She has it all over, but she's not.
I still not to touch it.
But did you update to the latest version of Operator? Christopher, right? Christopher, did you update to the latest version of Operator?
I believe so. I should be on 45.
Okay. Yeah, I'll ask Gustav about it, but it's supposed to work.
Yeah, that's.
I can check real quick.
Yeah, I'll ask him. Okay, so for this last session, I'm just gonna go through. I should probably put this in here.